All right, so here we go. So why do we like to do these detoxes periodically? Well, we used to tell people, if you detox once a year, you should be good. With the literally thousands of cases that we've seen over the years, and we've seen around 7,000 different cases over the years with all kinds of chronic symptoms, conditions, and diseases, from chronic fatigue to hormone imbalances, infertility, brain chemistry imbalances, GI issues, different gut issues, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. We can go on and on and on. And it's not surprising anymore that these are mostly rooted in environmental toxins. And then also it can be rooted in emotions and like unresolved trauma and unprocessed emotions. And we teach about that in our 5-part series masterclasses. Give me a 1 in the chat box if you've seen any of our masterclasses and which ones that you saw. I want to know. So this is why we like people to go through, and usually when people do come see us, it's usually because they are sick, they've tried everything else and it doesn't work. I would love to get more clients who are not waiting till we're the last resort to actually fix the problem. It would be really, really nice. So if you're having issues, don't wait until you're incapacitated, or you've tried everything else, quote unquote. Come and work with us sooner than later, and let's spend a year doing some deep detoxification, getting out the emotional toxins, the trauma toxins, and the environmental, chemical, and heavy metal and mold toxins out of your body, and watch what your body will do. It is designed to perform like a high performance car. And then when it doesn't, it's not because of your age, it's because you've got barriers to healing, health, and vitality. And that's what we're experts at fixing. Now, we also like to do these shorter 30-day detoxes throughout the year, once or twice throughout the year, because it can really be a very quick reset to help correct your brain chemistry imbalances if you're starting to get a little off kilter. It can very quickly help you recorrect any oncoming metabolic syndrome things that are starting to pop up. Like including type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. If you're starting to gain weight, this is a great reset for your food and your body and your cells, tissues, and organs. It will help fix your GI issues, including leaky gut. It reduces inflammation in the body and in the brain. It's not uncommon for us to see 5 to 15 pounds of weight reduction after 30 days. Right? And a lot of it depends on how much inflammation are you carrying right now and what have you been eating, right? Because a lot of us will slowly over the year, we may start out good. Put a 3 in the chat box if this resonates with you. You'll start out really good throughout the year, but then as the year goes by, by the time you get to September, October, you're like eating those corn chips with the hummus every day. Well, it's organic, so it must be okay, right? Or you're just eating like something that that you're telling yourself, in small amounts, just a little bit every day, it's not going to make a difference. But it's adding up over time, and you've gained weight since January, right? So yeah, Helena, thank you for saying that. I was going to say, most of you, whether you say it or not, I know this is happening to you because we've just seen way too many people over the years. So whether you want to jump in and say anything or not, I know that probably applies to you. It also prevents disease. You want to clean out the engine a couple times a year. It's good for you. It's good for you. It can help you in steering off or warding off or even reversing the process of autoimmune disease if you're going in that direction. And it helps you lose weight effectively for the long term. And I'm going to show you this here in just a minute. Toxins are everywhere. Did you know that in 1938 was the last time that a law was passed addressing chemicals in our personal care products? Isn't that appalling? Put a 1 in the chat box if that is just like disgustingly shocking to you. It was to me when I first saw that, 1938, right? What's the EPA for, we're asking? Aren't they supposed to protect us? Aren't they supposed to make sure that anything that's sold on the shelves is safe for us to use? Well, they don't do that, right? The EPA, that whole system is broken. And so it is not uncommon nowadays that Women are putting almost 170 different chemicals on their body every single day. How many of you will put on like 3 different lotions on your face? I do that. Like at night, I do that. You can put a 3 or a yes. Yeah, like I do that. I put on a serum, and then I put on something to help with the dark spots on my face, and then I put on a thicker, heavy moisturizer. Because I live in the high desert. I live up in the mountains. And if I don't, my skin starts to get really dry. And it's not as plump as it used to be because I'm older. I'm in my 50s, so it's thinner. And so when it gets dry and thin at the same time, it doesn't look really good. So I'm like layering on the lotions and the body oils. Well, most of us are buying stuff off the shelf, right? Yeah. So a lot of us are. Anne Marie, yes, I like Anne Marie skincare too. And I recently tried a new one that I absolutely love. It's made out of seaweed, and oh wow, it's like so good. Anne Marie is great because it's clean. And so, yeah, so a lot of us are using personal care products, men and women, and we use them on our kids too. We just go and we buy stuff that, looks good on the shelf. Oh, it must be safe. Well, babies and children have a lot of environmental toxins as well. In fact, we have over 1.2 billion pounds of toxic chemicals that are being released into the water and the air annually, just here in the United States. And I don't know if you're aware of this. Put a 5. Let's do a different number. Put a 5 in the chat box if you're aware of what I'm getting ready to tell you. But actually, I'm going to ask you the question. I'm going to ask it a little bit differently. Do you know that there is someone in the political realm who has been fighting against the EPA and fighting these large companies like DuPont, who are literally directly responsible for all of us who have these chronic immune diseases, these cancers, all of these different things? Do you know that there's someone who's been doing that, and do you know what his name is? It's Bobby Kennedy. Exactly. He's been doing it. So he's an attorney from the Kennedy family, right? He's JFK's son, I believe. And he has been fighting these companies for years. And think about it, as an attorney, the only way you're going to fight and win, and he wins a lot of these cases, is that you have to have compelling evidence that these companies are putting out chemicals into the environment that are killing people. And he's been trying to get the government agencies to stop covering their eyes and not looking the other way. He's trying to make changes to not allowing the companies who are producing these toxic chemicals and putting them into our products and our foods and all that. Right now, did you know that those companies can hire the third party? Like, they can hire a research agency or a university to study these chemicals and say that they're okay. Did you know that? There's a conflict of interest there. He's been fighting this stuff for years. And his father was trying to expose a lot of corruption, and he was assassinated. Now we have Bobby coming up, and he has been doing the work. He doesn't just talk about it like a lot of other politicians. He's actually doing the work. And he's running, by the way. And if you haven't read his book, I invite you to read his book. He's actually fighting for our lives, for our health, for the health of our children. He actually is doing what he says. He's already doing what he says he's going to continue doing. He's just right now uncovering it. And a lot of people are not aware of the work that he's been doing for many years. So thank goodness for people like him, because we are living in one of the most toxic environments on the planet. Can you believe that? We're in the United States. We would think, oh, not in the US. Surely it's going to be India that's dirtier than we are. Well, yeah, India ranks up there too. But take a look at this. The redder it gets, the darker red it gets, the more toxic it is. We're pretty toxic. And doesn't it surprise you that Canada, wouldn't you think Canada wouldn't be so toxic? It's pretty toxic. So we are having toxic overload, not just in our air, our water, and our food. We're having toxic load in our bodies. We're having it in our bodies. And the statistics of chronically ill people right now, it's scary. It's like 1 in 3 adults right? We've got like 60% of girls, children that are having mental health issues. And we've got higher than ever rates of infertility happening in boys and girls and men and women, of the fertility age, of the childbearing age. We've got people in Asia, over 1 million a year are dying from pollutants. That's insane. How come we're not hearing about that? Propaganda. We have it here in the United States just as much as they do in China. So we're just, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And so, I personally detox every day. I use TCG activation, and then I'll use MCM Detox Plus off and on throughout the year. And then I'll do these food-based detoxes at least once a year. So what are these environmental toxins contributing to? Let's take a look at the list. Just scan it with your brain or with your eyes. Scan it with your eyes and take a look. We've got, symptoms, conditions, and diseases of all kinds that are directly related to the toxin exposures that you're unknowingly being exposed to every day. And these toxins are accumulating in your body. Why? Because these are not natural, they're man-made, and the body has not adapted. It hasn't evolved enough yet with mutations to be able to figure out how to detoxify. And so you end up with toxic buildup. So BPA builds up in your body, leading to osteoporosis, cancer, severe and significant hormone imbalances, metabolic imbalances, right? It doesn't come out until you use very specific supplements to get it out of the body. How do we know it works? Because we can track all that with labs whenever people are going through the longer year-long process with us. The conditions and diseases that we see encompass everything from brain fog, depression, anxiety, ADD, to neurodegenerative diseases like dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. And then we see GI conditions of all kinds, autoimmune diseases, cancers. We have 2 cancers going in remission right now, by the way, with clients that we have, which is fascinating and amazing. Diabetes, Hashimoto's, infertility, miscarriages, osteoporosis, heart disease, systemic inflammation. And, these dangers of these toxic deposits can also cause central nervous system disorders. So it's not just necessarily going to be confined to brain-based issues like what I just showed and talked about in the last slide. It can be literally central nervous system disorders, things like, Parkinson's doesn't just affect the brain, right? It affects the entire body. You end up with tremors. And then you have things like MS, central nervous system disorder. You end up with things like nerve pain, that it can be so significant. Like we have had people come to us with such severe neuralgias, like nerve pains, that they wanted to take their life because they were suffering so badly. And it turned out to be very specific toxins that were in their body that was causing it. Allergies and asthma. Raise your hand if you've been with us and you were an individual who had severe allergies or asthma and now it's gone. We have a lot of stories like that. Don't know if any of our clients who have that story is on with us, but if you are, definitely say something. Yes, I see in the chat EMFs. Yes, EMFs is another environmental toxin for sure. Joint inflammation and stiffness. I can't tell you how many times that we have seen clients over the years who have been basically misdiagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis and other types of arthritis. Now, arthritis means inflammation of the joint, right? But the doctors just say, well, yeah, this is what you have, inflammation of the joint. Take this anti-inflammatory, which doesn't work, by the way. It may work for a little while, but long-term it is going to cause a lot of rebound issues. And when they discover what toxins are in their body and they detox, their arthritis miraculously goes away. But even if even if you go through the 30-day, which I want you to experience the 30 days so you can see the power of it, because if you can see the power of the 30-day, and then you come back in January and you do it again, or if you do the labs now, before and after, before you start, and then after the 30 days, and you can see the power of what your body can do in 30 days, imagine what it can do in 10 months of detoxification. Absolutely amazing. So let's talk about how toxicity causes weight gain. Once you have been able to have the opportunity to go through any of our master classes and you see our case studies where we show the before and after on the symptom sheets, we always add the weight on there as well. And you'll see, I mean, it's not uncommon. It's actually commonplace when they go through these longer detoxes, they'll lose 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 pounds, and they're not even trying to. In this 30-day detox that we're going to take you through, it's not unusual to lose 5 to 15 pounds. Why? Because you're actually losing a lot of the food that has gotten stuck and putrefied in your GI tract, but you're also losing a lot of inflammatory weight. And you actually are able to detox, not from every cell, tissue, and organ in your body, these environmental toxins, but any of these environmental toxins that are in your GI tract, in your liver, in your kidneys, and in your blood, those can come out relatively fast. It's the ones that are attached to your cells, tissues, and organs that takes longer to get that out. And so, but what happens is when we have these environmental toxins that come into our body through either ingestion through our food, because we're not eating organic and we're eating processed foods with all kinds of chemicals, or through our personal care products, our house cleaning products, or we live on a golf course and so we're actually getting exposed to all the glyphosate and pesticides and all the other things, or just in general in the air, because our air is filled with a lot of plastics now, microplastics. Our air is filled with it. Our body, remember, cannot detox these naturally. And so we start to have what is called a toxic overload. And the body will actually start to produce more fat cells, and it will encapsulate the excess toxins in the fat cells to protect you. It's creating a little vault of a fat cell, and it's putting the toxins into the fat cell, and it's depositing it in different parts of your body. It's kind of like it's filling up the garbage bags, and it's just setting the garbage bags around the house, it's trying to contain the garbage. And the side effect of that, one of the many side effects, is that we suffer from weight gain. And so let's talk about dieting versus cleansing. Put a 5 in the box if you have experienced the whole yo-yo thing of you diet, you lose weight, then you gain it back plus a few. Then you decide to diet, you lose weight again, maybe not quite as much as the first time. Then after a period of time, you gain it back plus a few. And then over the course of a few years of doing this, maybe decades, you're actually way heavier than you were in the very beginning. Right? Yeah. So a lot of us have experienced, hi, Annika. So a lot of us have experienced this. I experienced this too. I did my very first diet when I was in high school, eating apples for lunch and Diet Coke. I didn't know. A lot of us just didn't know, right? And then over the years, I started having this issue where I was gaining weight and it was getting harder and harder to lose weight. I tried the Weight Watchers. My mom put me in that twice. Then at one point I did fen-phen. How many of you are familiar with that one? I did fen-phen, and I ended up with mitral valve prolapse in my heart from doing those drugs. And then I did the keto diet. And so I would, lose weight, but then after a period of time, not right away, after a period of time, I gained it back plus some. And then I ended up getting really sick. As some of you know my story, I got very, very sick many, many years ago, around 15 years ago, and I almost died. And it was through my recovery that I learned so much about what I'm teaching you now. And so I learned that I had a lot of toxins in my body, and that's why I kept gaining the weight back. And so what happens is the fat gets stored, the fat stores or encapsulates these impurities, and then these impurities are stored throughout your body. And when you lose weight, you may lose some fat cells, but you didn't lose the impurities. The impurities are still there. So now you have, even like all the red dots, you have the impurities are spread out even more through your body than they were before. And your body reacts to this toxicity and it goes into emergency fat production, making even more fat cells because it's got to go into, alert. It goes into red alert and it makes more fat cells to restore these toxins that just got released into your bloodstream because you were like on the keto diet or whatever, you were doing something to burn the fat. And so this is why we rebound with the weight versus when you cleanse and you actually get the toxins out. You get the toxins out and you will lose weight and you're not even trying to lose weight. Now we have to take into consideration, what are we eating? We need to make sure we're eating clean, right? And that we're not having like maybe other specific issues, but this is a huge issue of why people rebound. This is why so many weight programs fail. And this is why when you cleanse, you can experience the power of a 30-day cleanse, like you're going to get an opportunity to do. And then hopefully that will motivate you to get a call with one of our practitioners and let's dial in deeper and let's optimize your health so that you can be in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and you still have the stamina to come out and come hiking with me up in the mountains, right? You can go bow hunting with me if you like to harvest your own animal protein. You have the energy, you can go skiing, you can do all these things into your 70s and 80s and into your 90s. This whole aging thing is BS. It's because we're living with these toxins in our body and it's aging us faster than it should. And so you get an opportunity to experience the power of just 30 days. What can 9 to 10 months do? Wow, right? So let's move on. And this is just another image of pretty much of what I just showed you. And let's talk about where toxins are stored and where we can detox them. So toxins are stored everywhere. A lot of people may think that they're stored in the liver because the liver is like filtering out toxins, but after a while it can only filter so much and then you're going to have spillover, right? And then the kidneys are going to grab some and then they're going to spill over, right? And then it's going to end up circulating through your blood and then eventually it's going to go, it's going to start depositing into your gut and then it's going to deposit literally into the cells of your body, the cells which make up your tissues and organ systems in your body. So every tissue and organ system literally can be packed full of these environmental toxins. And so the most effective detoxification is going to address all of these. And that's where we go again back into our longer detoxification. But for the shorter detoxification, what you get that you can see, and I'm going to show you some case studies here in just a minute so you can actually see how powerful this 30-day detoxification and metabolic reset is. It's really going to target the liver and the gut and the kidneys, and it's going to do some really great blood filtering. And so in the shorter amount of time, you can do that. Will you be able to filter, to eliminate all of it? Well, it depends on how much you got and what all is going on in there, right? But it will make a difference. So we always want to begin with a food-based detoxification because it's going to support your metabolic processes. It's easy to do. 1 to 3 shakes daily. The basic protocol is 1 shake daily, but if you want to do an advanced version, get 2 buckets get 4 buckets of the Paleo Detox Cleanse powder. Get 4 buckets of that and do 2 to 3 shakes daily. And watch, that's the advanced version. And wow, it's pretty incredible. And this is actually where we start. Anybody who goes through our 12-month body and brain restoration and healing program, where they spend all those months in detoxification, they always start their first 30 days doing a slightly different version of this detoxification protocol. So super, super awesome. And it's providing you dense nourishment, which is why many people report feeling euphoria. Their hair starts to get shiny, their skin looks like it's glowing, and their energy just skyrockets usually after day 10. The first 10 days are a little hard because your body's cleaning out all the junk. It's kind of like getting that car turned over, it's been sitting there for months and you're trying to get the car turned over and it's got, yucky oil and gunky gas in it. And you just got to like turn it over. Once you get it started, you start driving it, it makes a few, noises and putters and then it gets going. And that's kind of what happens with your body. The first 7 days or so, people usually first 5 to 7 days, you're like, oh my God, this is really hard. It's because you're changing what you're doing, right? And your body's used to eating the pizza at night and the chips before dinner. And it's used to having that coffee, 1 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning with that yucky, artificial creamer in it. And like whatever it is that you're doing, right? Maybe you're not drinking enough water. So all of a sudden, when you make the change, the first couple of days, it's hard. But then all of a sudden by day 10, people usually wake up feeling euphoric. They feel that good because we're putting such dense nutrition into your body between the food that you're eating and the shakes that you're doing and the supplements that you're taking. And so there are 3 phases of detoxification. And so we're going to talk about that. Phase 1 is opening the drainage pathways so that we can transform a lot of these fat soluble toxins into the more water soluble toxins, and we can start peeing them out and pooping them out. It also will help create easier digestion. So usually people will notice much better bowel movements during this 30-day detox. Unknowingly, a lot of times we're eating foods that are constipating us and we don't realize it. Like for example, Simple Mills almond flour crackers. How many people eat those? I think they're super yummy, but I don't eat those all the time. If you eat those, maybe put a 3 in the box. Or if you eat like almond flour cookies as your treat or things with almond flour. Well, almond flour constipates a lot of people and then causes secondary bloating. Right. And so a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm eating this, it's healthy, I'm staying away from gluten, I'm eating these almond flour this and almond flour that. Well, that can cause a lot of constipation in a lot of people. And so when we take you through this 30 days, we have you off of all nuts, all seeds, all nut flours, all seed flours, all seed oils, right? You can do olive oil and a couple of other oils, but we have you off of all this stuff, and it really does this massive, it creates this shift in your body that helps people have really amazing bowel movements. Amazing bowel movements. And they suddenly start feeling better. When you can take a really good poo, you're going to feel so much better energetically, and your mood is going to feel better too. And then phase 2 goes a little bit deeper, where we open the detox pathways a little bit more. And then phase 3 is really being able to eliminate, it's that deeper detoxification, being able to eliminate toxins from cells, tissues, organs, like all of the things. And so when we do this 30-day detox, we are doing mostly phase 1 and 2. And you are doing elimination too, but you're not doing the phase 3 elimination, like I said, that's like coming out of the cells and tissues necessarily. It's coming out of the tissues in the GI tract. It's coming out of the blood, and the toxins are coming out of the liver and the kidneys and the gallbladder. So let's take a look at, I've already mentioned some of the things you can expect with your detox, like reducing systemic inflammation, reducing joint inflammation, reducing your cholesterol, stabilizing your blood glucose levels, reducing and stabilizing your liver enzymes, and a lot of increased energy, increased libido, better sleep, softer skin, better stools, weight loss, all the things. So let's get into the fun stuff here. Juliana, 62-year-old female, dropped 80 points in her cholesterol. If that doesn't make your jaw drop, right? If it is making your jaw drop because you've never heard that could be done, put a 1 in the box. Put a 1 in the box. This is in 30 days. Look at those dates. Look at the dates, February 9th to March 31st. So she did her labs on February 9th. I had a consultation with her, talked with her about doing the 30 days. Because, of the cholesterol numbers and her triglyceride numbers and, and the other things, and her hemoglobin A1C was high. And that's a blood glucose marker. And so she ordered her stuff, She went shopping. She started her detox a couple of weeks later, and then when she was finished, she came back and did her blood work, and look at the drop. That's absolutely incredible. And I'm glad that you guys are acknowledging that, because you're never going to hear a doctor tell you, oh, let's drop your cholesterol, let's change your food for 30 days, and let's add some really healthy supplements that are food based. No, they're going to put you on statins, and statins come with a very, very, very wide array of terrible consequences and side effects, right? So, and we can talk about that later if y'all want to. Just somebody can write that down and ask, and I'm happy to share with you the very common yet unknown side effects of statin drugs. And she dropped 19 points in her blood glucose, guys. 19 points. She went from 109 to 90. I mean, every single marker here is absolutely incredible to take a look at. Diane, an 83-year-old female, dropped 8 points in her blood glucose, 21 points in total cholesterol, 13 points in triglycerides, and 18 points in her LDL. And you can see the initial date of her results was December 20th. And she didn't start until like January, because she was going through the holidays, right? So she went in, she started on January, and then when she was done and she had time to get her blood results back, you can see the changes there. That's pretty awesome, right? Here's Eileen, a 63-year-old female. Now take a look at this. This is incredible. And you wouldn't believe it if you didn't see the results, right? This is why it's like, what? Can you really do this? She dropped 128 points in her blood glucose. So let's look at the date. Original date was over here on the left of the slide, May 23rd, 2019, and then June 20th, 2019. Look at the levels from 248 to 120. Her hemoglobin A1C, which is a marker showing that you're diabetic. Basically, if you're over 5.5, you're going right into type 2 diabetes. When you're this high, this is scary high. This is like doctors get alarmed when they see this, right? She was at 11.10. In 30 days, she dropped down from 11.1 to 9.2. Then we continued with her again, with this same type of detoxification in the foods, and she was down to 7.5 in July. It's pretty amazing. What else do we have here? A 75-point drop in total cholesterol. Oh, and by the way, let's go back to hemoglobin A1C. That marker is not a marker that changes as quick as like blood glucose, liver enzymes, cholesterol. So when you see those types of drops, that's significant. And so then going back to cholesterol, look at her cholesterol. Total cholesterol was 268. Then a month later, it was 193. So 75 point in total cholesterol, 83 point drop in triglycerides. She went from 190 down to 107. LDL went from 181 to 120. Absolutely amazing. And her homocysteine, which is an inflammatory marker that typically goes high if you have certain genetic mutations, notably MTRR, MTHFR. How many of you are aware of those? Put a 1 in the box. Those are genetic mutations that don't allow your body to convert homocysteine into L-methionine. And then the L-methionine is used for other things. So you build up this homocysteine and it's toxic in your body. It causes a lot of inflammation. It causes inflammation in your arteries, which then drives up your blood pressure and leads people into stroke and things like that. Right? And so she had a pretty big drop in homocysteine. That's a big drop in 30 days. It might not look like a lot to you to go from 8.2 to 6.9. That's another marker that's a really big drop to have in 30 days. And she was back into a safe level. So what else do we need to do when we're detoxing? It's an obvious, but a lot of us overlook it. So many of us don't like to drink water. How many of you don't like to drink water? Put a 1. If you don't like to drink water? Put a one in the box. Some people don't. I mean, let's be real. And some of us, I mean, so I grew up living between Houston, Texas and San Antonio, Texas. And the water in Houston tastes so gross. So I grew up hating water. Didn't want to drink it. Did not want to drink it. And so sometimes we end up getting anchored that we don't like water, but that's because we grew up drinking like just really nasty water. And by the way, the water quality and purity in our municipal water systems is terrible. It's terrible. I have a client who works for I don't remember, like the water district, he like tests the water in Austin, Texas. He tests the water. And he said, I will not touch that water in terms of drinking it. He says, I won't drink it because I know what's in it. And I said, would you be willing to do a little interview with me and tell me about it? And he goes, well, no, I'll lose my job. And I was like, okay, we can cover your face. But he was afraid, right? I mean, he's got a family to feed. So, but he knows. And so I invite you, if you've had one of those traumatizing water experiences that you hate water, I invite you to rewire that memory and let's create a new anchor about how delicious water is. And, you know, you can do a purified water. We have a very, I would call it a more advanced water filtration system in our house. And the water that comes out of our refrigerator it's not distilled, it's reverse osmosis, but the rest of the water in the house is so clean. We can drink it from the tap if we want to, because it's so clean. We have it go through a series of different filters that we did the research on our own to really figure it out. Before that, we were using a countertop one called AquaTrue. We use that one in the RV now. And then before that, we were using a Berkey because we were renting, and now we're in an actual home. So we were able to put a system in. But water is super, super important. You've got to drink purified water though, and understand that water is going to help you detox. It's going to help you lose weight. And every cell, tissue, and organ in your body needs water to survive. It needs water to survive. And it's going to support your elimination phase of your detox. And don't drink things in plastic. 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated. So I can't tell you how many people we see who we take them through our brain and body restoration and healing program. And, you know, within a couple of weeks, a few weeks in, they're either having Herx reactions, meaning like they're having reactions, they feel like they have the flu or whatever, and they think it's the supplements. It's not the supplements, it's the toxins trying to come out of their body, and they're not drinking enough water to flush it out. Or their toxins are building up because they're constipated. And they're like, I'm constipated. The supplements are making me constipated. Well, it's really probably the water. Let's check your water and let's see. There have been a couple of cases where people really were well hydrated. They really were drinking enough water. Their body wasn't uptaking the water into their cells because their body was so toxic. So we had to add certain supplements into their water to help them uptake the water into their cells. But most of the time it's because people are not drinking enough water. Oh, I'm drinking 8 cups a day. Well, I mean, this is about 2 cups. This cute little coffee mug here. This is about two cups worth. 8 cups is not enough. You want to get a stainless steel water bottle, ideally a 32-ounce one. This is a little smaller than a 32-ounce one. But if you get a 32-ounce one, stainless steel water bottle, and you drink 3 of these a day, you're going to be pretty darn close to the water consumption that you need. 3 to 4 a day. And you might say, oh, well, it makes me pee more. Good. Embrace the pee. Embrace every time that you got to go up and go to the bathroom, and be happy that you can pee, right? And that your body's working, is doing its job. Don't get irritated that you have to get up and pee. Celebrate that you have to go and pee, right? And when you're in the bathroom peeing, sing hallelujah that you can go pee, because there are a lot of people out there who can't pee. They're super sick, right? And their kidneys are failing. They're having kidney failure, and they're going on dialysis, and they're dying in a really, really painful way. Celebrate that you can pee. Let's all laugh about it. It's funny, but seriously, celebrate that you can pee. The more that you can pee, you should be giddy and happy with excitement and joy that your body is doing what it's supposed to do. We should be peeing a lot more during the day than we do. If you're only peeing a couple times during the day, that is a sign that you are dehydrated. Food. Food is the most important part of your life in your healing, your health, your vitality, and your detoxification. And so this 30-day metabolic equinox detox reset that we're doing with you is highly food-based. It's highly food-based. And we add some supplements to make the magic happen a little faster, right? And so what do you do in the anti-inflammatory diet? Well, I have included, when you buy your detox kit, your 30-day detox kit, which you're going to get a link to. We're going to send you an email. If you don't get it tonight, you'll get it in the morning, and it will have a link for you to purchase your detox bundle. I'll also put it in the chat this evening before we're done. I'll put it in the chat for you so you can click on the link and you can buy your detox supplements. And once you do that, you will then get an email after that with a link to invite you to a free program that I put together, and Annika, who's on the call today, was helping me update it. It's a free online program that's going to give you daily and weekly support, and it's going to have an anti-inflammatory ebook in there for you that you can print out. It'll have a grocery checklist for you that I think we email that one. So some of the things are in this online portal that we have for you, this online program, and then other things we've actually set to go out in an email. We've got recipes going out for you. We've got all the things so that when you make, for some of you, these are going to be bigger food changes. For others, you may already be eating like this, and that's great. You don't have a lot of changes to make for the next 30 days. But for some of you, it is a bigger change, but have no fear. We have a beautiful anti-inflammatory ebook guide that's included for free for you. And we're going to be sending out recipes. And in the guide, there are more recipes. So we're going to be emailing you recipes over the next 30 days, plus the anti-inflammatory ebook guide for the foods, what to eat, like the grocery list of the things you can go buy. It's got all that in there. Plus, it's going to have in there recipes for you too. So it's going to be awesome. So how are you going to eat? Well, you're going to eat a lot of veggies. You're going to eat a lot of veggies. This is, this is the pyramid of the anti-inflammatory diet. And you can eat the healthy fats. You can eat the non-starchy veggies. You're going to be eating lots of those. You can eat low glycemic fruit. So berries is a low glycemic fruit. Watermelon, believe it or not, is a low glycemic fruit. And you can look it up online. What are the low glycemic fruits? Look it up. And then we encourage you, you don't have to do this, but our diehards do it. And I'm one of the diehards. I would call myself an advanced detoxer because I know the benefits. I see the benefits of it. Sometimes I can't do it for the first 10 days, but I can do it for at least 7 days. Is we ask that you, if you can, stay off of all animal protein for the first 10 days. Woo! That's a big one for some of us, right? That's a big one for me because I love red meat. I eat deer meat and elk and beef and lamb, and like that's my favorite animal protein. My body loves it. And it's good to shake it up every now and then. It's good to just shake it up. Give your digestive system a break, right? And so if you can, we ask you that you stay off of animal protein for 10 days. If you can't, and you're like, oh my God, I just have to have some, then stick with the lighter ones for the first 10 days, like fish, cleaner fish, or chicken, something that's lighter. And then I do have the nuts and seeds here. This is an example of a anti-inflammatory diet outside of the 30-day one that we're doing. We're going to ask you to stay off of all nuts and seeds. Why? Because we want to give your digestive system a break. So think of the things that are harder to digest. If you know that your body has a hard time digesting fats, we're going to ask you to lie low on the fats. Right? If you're not sure, look at your poop. When was the last time you looked at your poop? If it floats, you're not digesting your fats very well. And that's a sign that you would probably do really well on digestive enzymes while you're doing this, right? and laying off the fats on the first 10 days also. So just a lot of fruits and veggies, lots of fruits and veggies, mostly veggies with a little bit of fruit, right? Mostly veggies with a little bit of fruit. We will, again, you will have access to these ebooks when you get into your program. And Annika, can you double check? I know we have the detox anti-inflammatory program. Can you double check that we have the link to the 30 inflammation reducing superfoods and the 39 inflammation reducing smoothies in there too? I'm pretty sure we have the links in the free program that we gift everybody when they go through the detox. It's for that added support. I'm pretty sure we have that. But if not, we can add those links for you. Lots of freebies that we give you because we want you to be successful. And then we want to include some regular exercise. Did you know that when you go walking every day and you're just doing the gentle motion of swinging your arms when you walk, did you know that that is helping detox your body? Put a 1. Put a 1 if you knew that helps you with your lymphatic system, your glymphatic system. It just helps you go to the bathroom too. It helps you have bowel movements. You want to move when you're going through this detoxification process. If you need to back off a little bit, if you're going like heavy duty at the gym or you're doing like high intensity, like the dance classes and stuff like that, in the first 10 days and you're feeling a little tired, just be gentle with yourself. Give yourself a break from the high intensity stuff and just go walking. Just go walking. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. That's going to help you a lot with the elimination. And then we've got the detox kit. So you're going to do the anti-inflammatory food guidelines, right? Eating the correct foods. You're going to be drinking at least how much water? Somebody put it in there. How much water? Each day? 3 liters. Yeah, about close to 100 ounces, 96 to 100 ounces a day of water, purified water, right? And then you're going to take these supplements. And inside of the program, I have your dosing schedule for it. And the dosing schedule will say 1 shake a day, and then it'll tell you how much to take of the other supplements. If you want to increase the number of shakes per day, you can. You could do 2 or even 3 shakes a day. Can you even make it replace some of your food? Absolutely you can. There is protein in here. And so it will sustain you with protein and a lot of dense nutrition. We encourage you to eat those veggies though. Those veggies have a lot of dense nutrition. Make sure that your stuff is organic. We don't want to do regular traditional foods. We want to make sure that it's organic. And we want you to substitute your coffee and stay off coffee. This is hard for some people. Is this going to be hard for any of you? Yes, you want to drink your water throughout the day, not all at once. We don't want to drink it all at once. That would hurt your tummy too. But you can substitute your coffee for Dandy Blend tea, which kind of has a chicory root coffee-ish kind of taste. You can do herbal teas without caffeine. You can do mushroom-based coffees and teas. You can do hot bone broth with sea salt in it. So good for you. You can do that instead of coffee. So we ask you that you stay off of the coffee. And most people wait until January when they do this detox again to order their labs. Why? Because January is a good time to remember to order your annual labs, right? And whatever you see that's high that shows up on your labs, you do the detox, reorder your labs again. And don't forget that we're here to help you. Don't try to navigate this stuff on your own. If there's something complicated or something didn't change the way you expected it to, or you saw a lot of stuff that was in the red and purple, get a phone call with us so we can guide you. We're still going to have you do this, but we can guide you so that we can really ensure that we help get your health back on track before you steer off the road and you're in a really bad place with your health. So, but if you want to order your blood work, not wait till January. If you want to order your blood work, you can. Now, our blood work is normally $424. And by the way, it's a tremendous amount of blood work. It's about $2,000 worth of blood labs. So even the regular pricing is pretty outstanding. We're doing it on sale for $299. And once you get into your free program, again, you have to buy the bundle first. Once you buy the bundle, Annika and my team make sure that you'll get a follow-up email after that that says, congratulations on your purchase, whatever, whatever. And then here's the link to get into your free online program that has your ebooks in there, your recipe books in there. It's going to have a module that reminds you if you want to order your functional blood, reach out to the front office. You can order your blood here. It may have a little form for you to fill out or whatever. But again, most people do wait until January, but I want to make this always available to you if you want to do it now. And so what else do we have? Oh, and in the free program that we're offering you when you buy your bundle, you will get weekly email support, sometimes daily, giving you motivation, recipes. Annika, who's on the call tonight, you keep hearing me mention her name, my beautiful Annika. She's on our team and she was working to make sure everything got updated so that you'll get your emails. And we have a community chat as well. So you can jump in and you can share your wins. You can share recipes. You can modify any of the recipes that you see, you can modify them. Remember, nothing's set in stone. If there's a recipe and there's one particular ingredient in there, like a vegetable that you don't like or that you're sensitive to, you can just substitute it for a different veggie, right? You can do that. And so that's how that works. And trying to think if there's anything else. I think that's it.